What's up, cool kids? FD White back with another episode. Bitcoin is pumping, man. We talked about this. We talked about getting back inside this rising wedge, which is still a bearish pattern. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But right now, I keep telling my community this is a trader's market. This is definitely a trader's market. And if you want to accumulate while we're down, like we talked about, a lot of these altcoins, I looked at it yesterday. A lot of these altcoins some are at bear market lows, which if you think they're going to bounce back, now may be a good time to start going a tad bit heavier. I'm nibbling, like I keep saying, but a lot of these coins we're going to look at on a later video are at bear market lows or close to bear market lows. So we're going to talk about that. But we want to focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum in this video, and we'll just take a quick skew at altcoins. But right now, like I said, Bitcoin is bouncing at this 87K area. So I like this candle. This is the candle I like, this 4-hour candle. We have about 2 more hours before this candle closed. We came down, retested this perfectly, and then now we're getting a bounce. I like this hammer candle. If we can close above here or right around here in the next 2 hours, I think we're going to make our way up to about 90K, which we have 3 levels of confluence. We have the top side of the rising wedge. We have the top side of the bigger pattern, which is the downtrend that we've been in. We've been hitting our head on making these lower highs. So we want to break above here. We want to really get back up here, but we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves. We're going to take baby steps. And then of course we have this horizontal going back from the end of February. Then we have all this price action here, and now I can see it's coming back into this area, like I said, around 89,500 to 90K. So right now we're looking at we're also looking at the stock market. Stock market did open up very bullish. We have the NASDAQ opening up 1.65%. We have the S&P up 1.5%, the Dow up 1.2%. And this is coming off the back. Let's see if I can find it. Trump tariff. So overnight, Trump said something about, here we go. Where is it at? Okay, here we go. So this is on CNN.com. It says, hold on, let's go to it. Stocks rally and crypto as Trump's Liberation Day is looking like yet another tariff retreat. So this is all came last night around market close. We got some information coming out that Donald Trump and his administration have been promoting this April 2nd as kind of the tariff Super Bowl, during which all of his many promised import taxes will go into effect. But as he has demonstrated many times before, Trump once again appears to be offering a lot of hype and little action. So I don't know how long this is going to keep lasting. He keeps having all these grand ideas, these grand plans, these grand things that are supposed to come into the market, and then they're just like, he just retreats on them. So sort of like the boy who cried wolf. I don't know how long this, well, you know, he is the president, so maybe it will just continue to stick if he says something. You know, markets are forward looking, so a lot of times, or in this case specifically, we thought, okay, April 2nd was the time where you know, these tariffs was going to go into effect, so everybody was selling before April 2nd. Now it seems like they are trying to tamp down expectations that every pledged tariff action will go into effect April 2nd. Says they reported this week. Instead, a significantly reduced batch of tariffs will be announced next week, and more could follow later, although both reports said the situation remains fluid and ultimate decisions could change. So this is why the market is rallying, and we talked about things like this. I was talking to my boy yesterday. I had a nice little conversation with him, and I was telling him, like, the market, you know, although we're technical traders, we look at the technicals over the fundamentals. The fundamentals is what's driving everything right now. So we have to be you know, super alert as to these things that's coming out, to the announcements that are coming out, to the decisions that are made in the economy, especially when it comes to Trump and when it comes to the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell. So like I said, right now, I am looking for Bitcoin to possibly start going up to this 89.5 to 90K area and possibly topping out. But that will still be a lower high. We have our highs here, our highs here, our highs here. This will be, if we come tap up here, this will just be a lower high, and we're still in a bearish flag, a bear flag right here. You see on this yellow dotted line. So We can't get too happy yet, but we are having a nice little pump. Altcoins are having a nice little pump. I'm actually watching a couple. I'm watching Ondo to break above that 90-cent level. I think it can go up to like 105 quick, but that's just going to be predicated on how far Bitcoin can go up. And then we'll see if Bitcoin dominance can start to roll over a little bit more than this, maybe get down to the lower 61% area or even the high 60% area. Ethereum is pumping. Ethereum has broken that 2K level. Ethereum right now is sitting at 2081, almost 2082. We're hitting our red area of resistance. So Ethereum still has a long way to go to make a lower high. So we can get all the way up to about almost 2300 and still be creating a lower high, you know, on the charts, because we're just been in this downtrend. Ethereum has been very weak. But this was such a very, very technical breakout, just a textbook move, breakout, retest, and now we're just heading up. And this happened, this was last Wednesday when we broke out, came back down for the retest on Friday, and then we, you know, broke out, and now we're looking to possibly head up to about 2280. That'll be a nice little move. If you guys are in Ethereum trades, make sure you are locking in profits, taking your profits, because this things could change on a whim. We've been talking about that. So Ethereum is looking okay, but like I said, until we break this and start making our way back up here, what you see, all this gap, all this space right here, if we can break above here, I think this will be a quick move up to about 2600, 2700, just somewhere in this area here. But this is going to be, like I said, dictated by tariffs, dictated by fundamentals, dictated by Jerome Powell, dictated by Trump. So we just got to be diligent and make sure we're paying attention to everything that's going on. But while the market is pumping, make sure you're taking advantage of this. A lot of things are pumping. Some things are not pumping. I was looking at XRP. XRP is not really moving, but we're going to stay and watch this. What we're looking at for XRP right now, let's go to the hourly time frame, because I'm looking at a move, possibly flipping this $2.50 area. I think we can make our way to about $2.60 very quick. So we'll be looking at a move possibly of about 5%, close to 5%, if we can flip this and make our way here. So that, I think this will be a fairly quick move, maybe a day or two, if that, maybe a few hours. If, you know, it's been lagging behind while all the big caps are moving. Solana is moving. Solana is at 144. Nice breakout. Took out these highs here. Let's go over here. Took out these highs here, and I mean, it just went, you know, took this volume gap, another volume gap. Now we're coming into some resistance around $144 or $144. So we'll see what happens with Solana here. It's not risk on yet. This is just a move. This is a move that's coming from off the back of those Trump tariffs maybe not being as bad as initially thought on April 2nd. So like I said, we'll continue to monitor this, and we'll continue to you know, just get the money where we can. If the market is pumping, we'll try to get some of these pumps and put it in our long-term portfolio bags. Have some dry powder to buy the dip if we do dip a little bit more. Gold, I did want to look at gold because I have been trading a lot of gold lately in order to put more profits back into Bitcoin. So gold, I'm looking for gold to possibly come back to 3K if risk on is, you know, risk on in the short term is going to stay. And then potentially going back down here to this 2950 if we get a major sell-off, and I'll open a major long here. This will be the area here around this 2950 area where I'll open a major long coming in. This is because gold respects levels very well. So we'll be watching this 2950 area to 20, somewhere around here. We'll be watching that for a nice continuation move, you know, back to the upside and ride that. Then, you know, take profits and put it back into crypto, put it back into Bitcoin, and continue to do that. Rinse and repeat and go from there. While the market is down, altcoins are still good down, even though they are pumping. I mean, they're still down, what, 60, 70, some 80%. So this little baby pump in the grand scheme of things is good, but it's still time to, you know, try to figure out what you're going to do and try to figure out your move and try to figure out if you think the bottom is in or if you think we're going to continue up. But it's all predicated on the back of news, on the back of fundamentals, on the back of Trump's tariffs, recessions, unemployment, interest rates, things like that. So like I said, stay diligent, stay in tune to what's going on, and we'll continue to go from there. So this is FD White. Appreciate everybody for watching. I will talk to you guys in a minute. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed to the Telegram, make sure you guys go in the pinned comment. Telegram link will be in the pinned comment. I'll talk to you in a minute. Peace.